Hello everyone. Welcome to another Microsoft Hero Community session. My name is Priya, Microsoft Security MVP, MCT, and Community Leader in Microsoft Hero. Before we're having our great speaker tonight, which we're going to talk about a bit of the Copilot and those great things that we can do with the Copilot Studio, I would love actually to go to a couple of actually points about the community, and then we're going to have Debbie on the stage. So give me a sec. I'll just bring my slides up. Here you go. So as we always saying that the Microsoft Learn community is the ideal space to build your skills, connect with your Microsoft experts, and receive genuine support throughout your learning journey. So don't miss it out. Be in touch with us, and we have our community, Microsoft Hero community, on the Microsoft community pages, and you can actually definitely ask your questions and follow us there. Technically the same as any other actually communities and code of conduct for the community. So be friendly and respectful to everyone, listen to different opinions, and be kind and patient when you're asking the question or you're answering the question. So without further delay, I would love actually to have DB on the stage, and he's going to actually talking about very actually great topic, which is these days a hot topic, I would say, is a build and extend AI agents with Microsoft Copilot Studio. DB, great to have you tonight here.
Thank you so much for having me here today. Thanks for providing me this wonderful opportunity. Thanks once again. I would like to convey my warm welcome to all of you guys who joined today.
Thank you so much, DB. No, thank you actually sharing your knowledge today with the community. So that's I hope actually everyone just gonna enjoy this session, and feel free to just send your questions, whatever you have from DB, in the chat window, wherever you're watching us on the YouTube, LinkedIn, or on the StreamYard, and we definitely get DB to answer some of those questions at the end of the session. DB, the stage is yours. I'm behind the scene. Let me know if you needed anything. Thank you.
Sure, thank you so much. Can you make the screen available?
Yes, I'll bring your actually. Give me a sec. Looks like I need to remove that one first and have yours up. Here you go.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good evening once again. Welcome everyone. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to build and extend the AI agents using the Microsoft Copilot Studio with full end-to-end demo integrated with Dynamics 365 CE. So this session will combine the strategic overview with hands-on demonstration. I will show you exactly how to leverage these tools in real-world scenarios. So whether you are an administrator or a Power Platform maker or a technical business stakeholder, you will leave with an actionable knowledge to implement the AI agents in your organization. So before getting into today's session, so let me quickly introduce myself. Myself for Dharanidharan Balasubramaniam. People call me Dharani. I work as an engineering manager at a Big Four Australia bank. I'm a Microsoft MVP in business applications area. So one of the community leader for the BizApps ecosystem in Australia. I have spent several years designing the enterprise scale solutions across the Power Platform, Dynamics 365 CE, and also on the AI automation side. Today, I'm really excited to show you how easy and powerful to build the AI agents using the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So before getting into the demo, let's try to understand what is Microsoft Copilot Studio. So this is a Microsoft dedicated platform for building the custom AI agents. What Microsoft calls it as copilots. So these agents can understand your natural language and it interpret what the user actually wants, and then it will take the meaningful action in your business system. So first, it provides a natural language understanding. So this means that agent is not just invoked with a keyword driven. It can understand the intent, and also it can understand the context and multi-turn conversation as well. Second, this Copilot Studio supports business action execution. This is where the agent becomes more powerful. So it can trigger the workflows, it can initiate the approvals, so it can update the records, it can do the API calls. Essentially, it is like acting as a bridge between the user and also for the backend system. So third, it is having the native Dataverse integration. This is extremely important for Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform scenarios. Your agent can read and write the Dataverse data very securely, and it will apply the user's own permission, and it will perform all the CRM related operations in a very real time. And finally, it offers a high extensible architecture. If the out of box capabilities are not enough, you can extend the agent through the Power Automate. So it's also called, as earlier days, it's called as flows, and you do have that lots of custom connectors inside the Power Automate. You can get use of it, or you can use the API calls, or you can have your logic in an Azure functions, or even you can integrate this with lots and lots of external systems as well. So together, this capabilities making the Copilot Studio a robust platform for enterprises to build an intelligent and very actionable agent that can streamline their organization workflows and enhance the user productivity in a very seamless way. So why? So you can ask me like why we need an AI agents in Dynamics 365 CE. So AI agents are transforming how the organization interact with the Dynamics 365 CE. Traditionally, lots and lots of time in CE goes into manual data entry, like logging the customer details, updating the cases, recording the notes, and navigating the forms. These tasks are really necessary, but they are not giving high value to the organization. So with AI agent, using this Copilot Studio, you can automate all this repetitive tasks. For example, the system can capture the information conversationally, and it can write directly into the Dataverse, and it can eliminate the manual typing, and also it can reduce the errors as well. Another the major benefit is accelerated case creation. Instead of navigating to the multiple screens, so AI can collect the required information from the user, and it can create the case very instantly. And with that, you can reduce the workflow from minutes to seconds. And also, AI agents enable guided troubleshooting. They can surface the knowledge article which is associated with the Dynamics 365 CE, and also it can look into the previous resolution steps which is there in the KB article, and it will automatically recommend the action based on the historical data which is available for that particular case record. This ensure the agent is not just capturing the data, it is really helping the users to resolve the issues at a much faster speed. From the productivity perspective, AI agents handle common, straightforward queries automatically. That frees up customer service team to focus on high value or the complex scenarios where the human judgment is needed. And finally, consistency is the huge advantage. The agent applies Dataverse business rules, user authoritative data, and ensures response follow the standardization process every single time. So this ensures time. Overall, the AI agents yeah. So for today's demonstration, we are going to build and showcase a complete end-to-end AI agent scenario. It will create and track a customer support case inside the Dynamics 365 CE. This is one of the most frequent operations for the service streams. It requires multi-step. First, the customer service people, they need to search for the customer, they need to fill out the form, and they need to enter the notes, they need to select the category, and they need to navigate between the multiple screens. But with the help of the AI agent, we can simplify all those into a natural conversation kind of a thing. Like just like AI will ask like few questions, they will just fill out the forms, and within a fraction of a second, AI agent will be able to create the case. So in this one, the first step is like capturing the issue details. The agent will ask the right questions, like who the customer is and what is the issues and how urgent it is. So basically, it will collect all the information in a conversation way. Next, the agent will connect to the dataverse and it will search for the customer instead of the user manually like navigating to the CE views. The AI will automatically look up the customer based on the name, email, or any identifier the user is providing. Once the customer is identified, the agent will create the case record in a Dynamics 365 CE through the Power Automate action. It will populate all the fields, it will classify the case correctly, and it will return the case number back to the user. Finally, our agent also be able to track the case status. Simply, the user can simply ask from the agent, what is the status of my current case? And the agent will call another Power Automate to retrieve the latest update from the dataverse, and everything will happen in a conversational interface. So I will explain you like in detail in the upcoming slides how we are going to do it. So with this demonstration, we will see how the Copilot Studio, Power Automate, and the Dataverse come together to streamline the real world process and deliver a better experience for both employees as well as the customers. Yeah. So our agent combines in several sophisticated capabilities that allow it to feel and conversational and natural for the user, while still executing highly structured and complex tasks behind the screens. The first key capability is identifying the user intent. Using the natural language understanding, the agent can interpret what the user wants, whether it is creating the case or checking a status or updating the record or route the conversation into a correct workflow automatically. So everything is possible. Next, the agent can capture multi-step inputs. Instead of overwhelming the user with the forms, it guides them through the structured data collection process in a conversational way. It asks the follow-up questions and clarifies the missing information, and it will collect everything required to complete the action. Agent also validates the data in real time. It ensures the mandatory fields are provided, and also it values the follow whether the user is following the correct prompt or not, and correct format or not, and also the inputs comply with the business rules and constraints defined in the Dynamics 365 CE. The major strength is its ability to call the Power Automate flows. This is where the real work happens. All the creating the cases, searching the records, performing the updates, the integration with the Dynamics 365 CE, or if you want to integrate with an external system, everything will happen via the Power Automate flows. That's the magic which is there along with the Copilot Studio. So this agent can read and write the data to the dataverse. It can query the customer record, and it can retrieve the case status, and also it can create and update the case details, all while maintaining the security context based on the dataverse permissions. And finally, the agent is designed to respond in a conversational way. It provides the context-aware prompts, acknowledge inputs, and also it guides the users through the next step and keeps the interaction in a very natural and the intuitive way. Together, these capabilities make the agent more smarter, interactive, and it makes really operational powerful, and also it able to support the real enterprise workflows with the ease. Let's quickly go through the architecture, the reference architecture. This slide will give you the high level reference architecture of how the agent is going to interact with the different parts of the Microsoft ecosystem. We start at top with the Copilot Studio, which handles the conversational interface. This is where the agent interprets the natural language, and it identifies the user intent, and it routes the conversation through different topics. It essentially act as a brain of the experience, if you ask me. The next is the hero, who is there is the Power Automate. The Power Automate is responsible for executing the backend logic. When the agent needs to create a case or look up a customer, or whether it needs to perform any business operation, it triggers the Power Automate flow. This allows us to orchestrate multi-step process in a reliable way. Now, next is the Dataverse. It sits at the center of the architecture as a data platform. It provides structured storage for all business entities, including the customers, activities, interactions, and of course, cases. It ensures secure access and role-based permission, auditing, and relational integrity. So everything has been covered on the Dataverse side. On top of Dataverse, we have the Dynamics 365 CE, which provides the user interface and the application layer. This is where the case appear, where the service agent works, and where the business process like SLAs and the routing rules, everything has been configured on the model-driven application. So within this architecture, several components plays a key roles. The topics in the Copilot Studio, it defines how the conversation flows and how the data is collecting, and the variables are there. So it allows us to store the user inputs and pass it between the different topics, and also to the backend automation, to the Power Automate. And next we have the Power Automate action. It is doing the actual work, like creating the case records and executing the logic, calling the APIs, interacting with the external systems. Everything happens in the Power Automate side. And next we do have the Dataverse tables, and it ensures we are using the structured and the secure data with the built-in validation. And finally, the CE case entity. This is where all the customer issues are ultimately recorded and everything has been tracked over there. So this architecture is not only flexible and low code, but also enterprise ready, allowing the organization to extend, secure, and scale their AI agent solution based on their needs. Next, we have the topics. The topics are absolutely central to how Copilot Studio works. So you can think of them as the building blocks that represent what the user is trying to achieve. Each topic handles a specific user intent, and also it defines the entire conversational flow needed to complete that task successfully. In our demo, we will keep things with two main topics. One is for the case creation, and the other one is for the tracking the cases. The case creation topics, which is responsible for collecting all the information needed to log a new case in Dynamics 365 CE. This includes things like customer names and issue title, description, and what is the priority of the case, and if any additional context is required for creating the case. Everything has been captured in the create case topic. This topic guides the user through the conversation step by step, ensure nothing is missed. And next, we will have the track case topic that will enable the users to ask for the update on the existing cases. Whether they know the case number or just some customer details, the topic triggers the right logic to retrieve the latest information from the Dataverse case table, and it will present it to the user in a conversation way. To make this topic work effectively, several key design elements come into the play. First, the trigger phrases. That's the very key thing. These are all the natural language input that activates the topic. A single intent can be expressed in a dozen of ways. So the user might say log a case, or they can say create a ticket, or they can say like I need a help with the customer issue. They can add all those things in the trigger phrases for that particular topic. Designing that stronger trigger phrase, it will help ensure the agent recognize all these variations. So everything should be configured as a trigger phrases under the topic. Next, we do have the input questions. So these are all the structured prompts that fill the conversation, but are designed to collect the mandatory information required for creating the case in the Dynamics 365 CE. The goal is to avoid interrogating the user while still capturing what the system needs to complete the workflow for creating the case. So we also use the branching logic. This helps the agent adjust dynamically based on the user response, whether the information is missing, or whether it is an invalid, or whether if we need further more information, or if we need a clarification. everything can be achieved using the branching logic concept, which is there in the Copilot Studio. Finally, the variable assignment, it allows us to store the data, whatever like we are collecting through the conversation, we will store it in the variables and we will pass it to the Power Automate action where the actual CE operation will happen. Okay. And best practice here is to test your topics with a wide range of real user inputs. The people phrase a request in an unpredictable way. So we always need to like test it with the multiple phrases so that we can go ahead and add all those trigger phrases under the topic. So that is the very key thing for having the good conversational experience. So you can test it like whenever like you are building the topic. On the right hand side, you will have the capability to test it. So the best practice is always to test your topics with a wide range of real user inputs. That's one of the suggestions from my side. Now next is we'll quickly like learn about the Dataverse. The Dataverse is the core platform behind the Dynamics 365 CE customer engagement, and it plays the critical role in how our AI agent functions, because the AI agent connects through the Dataverse every interaction in a very secured, structured, and fully aligned with whatever the business logic has been built on the customer engagement side. The first key operation here is searching the contacts and the accounts whenever the user provides the customer details. So whether that is an email or a full name or a phone number or an email address, the agent uses the Dataverse queries to fetch the matching records. This ensures we are always map the case to the correct customer context. Now the next thing is, once the agent finds the correct the customer information, now the agent can create the case record using the Power Automate and the Dataverse connector. We will populate all the required fields like customer reference number and case title, description, priority of the case, and if you have any other additional context or any other information is there, you can pass it to the connector which is there in the Power Automate, and you can create the case record. Okay. And now the next thing is we also support fetching the case details when the user comes to the agent, and if they are asking for the status of the case, then agent can retrieve the case current state and who's the ownership and what is the timestamp and even the resolution notes if anything is available. Everything can be fetched from the Power Automate, from the Dataverse through the Power Automate, and you can pass it to the Microsoft Copilot Studio, and you can display the result in the Copilot Studio. So this eliminates the need to navigate to the multiple screens or the views when the agent is having a conversation with the customer over the call. One important point to highlight is the security. All Dataverse action respects the signed in user permission. The agent cannot read or write the data if the user is not authenticated or authorized to access any of the information. That's the main key thing. So with that, this maintains the enterprise grade security and compliance as an out-of-box feature. Because the integration is native, the AI agent becomes a natural extension of Dynamics 365 CE. With this, we are enhancing the productivity without compromising security and also the data integrity in the organization. So next comes the hero of the solution, the Power Automate. The Power Automate is the engine behind the scenes that is making our agent truly functional. So while the Copilot Studio handles the conversation, in the backend, Power Automate is the key thing. Like we are capturing all the information and we are passing it to the Power Automate, and Power Automate handles all the backend logic and all the data operations. The first step in the flow is triggering from the Copilot Studio. When the user provides the information during the conversation, we'll store it into one variable and then we will pass it to the Power Automate, and the Power Automate will get all those information from the Copilot Studio and it will interact with the Dataverse, and it will go on using the list rows connector. We will have the filter query to the contact or the account table in the Dataverse using the provided information like email address, phone number, or the full name. The flow identifies the correct customer record. This replicates the exact behavior how the service agent would manually perform the the customer search from the view in the Dynamics 365 CE. But here we are doing everything in a fully automated way without the human intervention. Okay. Once the customer record is identified by the Power Automate, then we will check whether it's a valid customer or not. Once it's a valid customer, then we will go ahead and create a new case record with all the information we captured from the user, like title, description, customer reference number, any categorization, or if they mention any priority of the case, everything we will capture it. It also sets the case status according to the how the business process has been configured in the backend on the Dynamics 365 CE. Once the case gets created, we can return the case number and the initial status back to the Copilot Studio. Then the agent presents the information back to the user in a very clean and conversational way. So with this, Power Automate brings us several enterprise benefits. One is it is having the reliability. It is ensuring the case is created even under the load of the network issues, thanks to built-in retry capability which is there in the Power Automate. And also it's a traceability, means every run is logged with the full detail, supporting the audit and the troubleshooting needs as well whenever it is required. And it scales automatically to handle the large volumes, making it ideal for the customer service operations. And flows are reusable, and meaning the same backend logic can power multiple agents or the apps. And because of Power Automate is a low-code thing, it's highly easily maintainable, allowing the rapid evolution of the process without writing or deploying any custom code for the Power Automate components. Together, Copilot Studio and with the Power Automate, we are creating a powerful combination. One managing the conversation, and the other one is managing the business logic. Yeah. Now we will move into the live demo. Like I will show you like how whatever we have discussed so far, we will see like how we can build it in real. We will walk through the full process of creating an AI agents that interacts with the Dataverse and the Dynamics 365 CE to create and track the customer service cases. We begin by creating the agent in the Copilot Studio. So in order to do that, we need to we'll need to configure the basic settings. Like we need to give the meaningful name, we need to give the description, and we need to confirm the authentication requirements. This establishes the foundation for the conversational experience. From there, we will move into designing the main topic, creating the case. This is where we define our trigger phrases like log a case or create a ticket, and structure the conversation that follows. I will add a question prompts to collect all the necessary information required for creating the case, like a full name, and what is the title of the issue, and what is the description, and what is the priority. Sorry. We'll capture all those information and we will store it into one variable, and then we will pass it to the Power Automate. Next, in the Power Automate, where we will build the complete backend flow. This flow will take all the input, whatever we captured from the Copilot Studio, and then inside the Power Automate, we will use the list rows for the customer search. Once, if we found the valid customer, then we will use add a new row in the Dataverse connector to go ahead and create the case. And after creating the case, we will return the case number and the ID back to the Copilot Studio. With the flow complete, we will head back to the Copilot Studio, and then we will link the Power Automate with the Copilot Studio, and then we will pass all the variables, and then we will get the output. And with the output, we will display the proper case creation message to the user. Yeah, I'll show you like at the end to end. With the interest of time, like I have already like built the create case topic. I will quickly show you, and I will also show like how we can build the track case. So we'll see like how the time is there. So accordingly, like I will show the track case as well. Now, in order to make the demo smoother, as I have mentioned, I have created all the test data in the Dataverse, and also like I have already created the create case as well. But now I will like switch to the other screen, and I will show you like how you need to create it. So in order to create it, like first and foremost thing is we are going to deal with the case entity. So the prerequisite for this is organization should have the Dynamics 365 CE customer engagement. The service module should be enabled from the admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. So once it is there, then the case entity will be automatically enabled for this one, and it will have the customer service hub, the model driven application as well. So over there you should be able to go and see all the cases, contacts, all those things you will be able to see. So this is one of the prerequisites. So once that is done, then the user should have the Copilot Studio license as well. So once that is there, then just put a copilotstudio.microsoft.com, and if you click on enter, then it will take you to this particular page, this Copilot Studio page. So here you just correctly go navigate to the correct environment. So once you navigate to the correct environment, then you will end up in this particular page. Let me quickly duplicate this. So once you landed here, then you will have the capability to click on creating the new agent. So once you click on this one, so it will take you to this particular page where you will have the capability to either describe or also to configure here. So if you go to the describe, so you can provide in a simple natural language like this. You just put name of your Copilot as a Dynamics 365 CE assistant, and you can give that description like this: help the user create and the track customer service cases in Dynamics 365 using the natural language. And you can provide the language as an English, and if you click on enter, then automatically it will create an agent for you and it will show all the prompts. So but in the interest of time, I will already created this one. I'll quickly open this one. So this is how it will get created in the system. You should be able to see here. Yeah, so this is how it looks. Overview, the description would be there, and you can see all the instructions you should be able to see here. And these are all the suggested prompts. You can see create a case, track a case, update the case details, and list to open cases, close a case, assign a case to agent. So all those things easily you should be able to do it in a very natural language way. Okay. So for today's demo, I will just go ahead with the creating a new topic. So here, if you go here, you will get an option to create it either from the blank, or you can add from the description with the Copilot. So I have already created. I'll show the created one here. So for this one, here, you need to add the trigger phrases. As I mentioned earlier, for this create a case topic, we have added multiple trigger phrases like log a case, create a case, all those things we have added as a trigger phrases for this one. So once the trigger phrase is configured, if they put a create a case here, then I came here and I clicked on this one, send a message, and I have added this information here. Sure, I can help you to create a new support case in Dynamics 365. Let me collect a few the details, and it is asking for who this case is for, and you can give me the customer's email or the full name. So the user will enter the full name here. Okay, so we are collecting the full name in the customer lookup, and similarly we are capturing the issue title, and we are capturing the issue description in title, and what is the urgency of the case. So everything you are capturing it here, and once all the informations are captured, we are showing the message to the end user saying that, great, I'll create a case for you for this customer with this title, with this priority. Let me process it. And then we are calling the Power Automate, and we are passing whatever the information we have captured, we are passing it to the Power Automate. Here you can see the Power Automate. So the PA, I have prefixed with the PA for the power in order to differentiate. This is the Power Automate component. Create a case from the Copilot. And here the flow details are there, and all the information has been passed over there. And here we have added a condition. Once it is success, then we are showing successfully the case has been created with the case number and the case status. Yeah, good. So now I'll quickly go to the Power Automate, and then I'll quickly show you how this Power Automate has been built here. And as I mentioned earlier, for this Power Automate, there is a trigger. That trigger should be the skills one, when the agent is calling the Power Automate, then this is the skill is the trigger. Then we are putting all the inputs here, the customer lookup, which is nothing but the full name, issue detail, issue description, priority, all those things. And I'm initializing like a few variables to send the message, the status, and the case number. And now next we have the list rows connector, which is there as an out-of-box connector from the Dataverse side. And I'm making an call to the Dataverse contact table to check whether the customer is there in the system or not. Okay. If the customer is already there, I'm adding a condition to check whether the customer is there. If the customer is not there, then we are sending a message saying that no match customer found. Okay. If the match is already there, then we are using the connector called add a new row in a Dataverse. I have renamed it as a create a case in Dataverse, and we are mapping to the case table description, what is the case type, and which is the customer. The customer we are filtering here, and I'm providing this information here, and the description, priority, everything we are putting it. Once the case gets created, then we are returning back the case number, status, and the message. And finally, like we have added a action called respond to the agent, and we are passing this 3 input parameters. And if you go back to the topic, you should be able to see this 3 outputs here: status, message, and the case number. This 3 information we are getting, and accordingly, like we are added a condition to check what is the status, and accordingly, like we are showing the proper meaningful information to the user. Now let me quickly show you here. I'll just create a case here. So once you create a case, then it will show you, sure, I can help you create a new support case in Dynamics 365, and let me collect a few details. And it is asking who this case is for. I'm putting Dharanidharan, Balasubramaniam. I'm not sure whether it is going to search case sensitive. For a safer side, I'm just putting the case sensitive. And what is the short title for this issue? Created this case to show demo in Microsoft Learn event. Okay. Now it will ask the description for this one. Adding a description, event, show demo. Now next it will ask for the priority of this particular case. I will give the priority as a high. So once this is done, it will quickly show you, great, I will create a case for Dharanidharan Balasubramaniam. So with all the information, priority, all those things. Now I'll quickly go to the Power Automate and I'll show you what is happening here. See, this got triggered 11 seconds ago and this got executed successfully. So we can see all the information. See, it has passed all the information, whatever we have filled it from the agent, the customer information, title, description, priority, all those things. And it has initialized all the variables, and it has went to the contact and it has checked, and the Dharanidharan Balasubramaniam is there. So it has returned the expression result as a true. So based on this, it has went ahead and created the case here, and it has returned the case number, and it has returned the status as a success and message as a case created successfully. In the action, the respond to agent, it has passed the status, message, and the case number. Now, if you go back to the topic here, you should be able to see the information here. You can see here, your case has been created successfully in Dynamics 365 CE, and you can see the case number and status as in progress, and you can refer to the case number if you want to track it later. Yeah. So in a seamless, in a conversational way, we were able to create the case. So the agent, no need to shift it between the multiple forms in order to create the case. Everything can happen seamlessly in a conversation way. The Copilot Studio can capture the information and it can pass it to the Power Automate, and it can quickly create the case in the system. So in the interest of time, I'll go back to the few things which is already there. So we have seen like how it is creating the case. So with the interest of time, I will go back to the next slide. So now let's go through like a couple of best practices when building the AI agents for the enterprise environments, especially like if you are integrating it with the Dynamics 365 CE. It is very important to go beyond just making this agent work. You need to build it in a way that is very scalable, secure, and it can be maintainable long term very easily. The first best practices: keep the topics very cleaner and modular. Each topic should have one clear intent. If you try to cover everything in a single larger topic, it becomes very hard to maintain. Instead, break complex workflows into multiple topics so that you can call each other or you can share variables as well. For example, see, you can create the case and you can track the case status in one topic, but in order to have the best practice, have two different topics, one for creating the case and the other for tracking the case status. Next, you can validate all the required inputs before calling the Power Automate. So everything can be can handle from the Copilot Studio itself. This includes checking for the missing values and if any data formats are there, and ensure whatever the information the user is providing, it is aligning with the business rules. All the validation you can do it from the Copilot Studio itself, and then you can capture the information in a variable and then you can pass it to the Power Automate. And critical ALM practice is use the environment variables. Don't hard code any URLs inside the Power Automate, any API endpoints or the connection references. It will always lead to the deployment issues. So use the proper environment variables. It will allow seamlessly move across the multiple systems like dev, test, UAT, and the prod without modifying your logic. Security is another important aspect. Always apply the Dataverse security roles for for following the least privilege. Ensure that agent application user have the exact level of access whatever they are needing it, nothing more. This reduces risk and also supports more compliance according to the organization. You should also add logging for an audit in enterprise environments. This is very essential and a crucial thing, not only for troubleshooting but also for the compliance monitoring and also for the continuous improvements. Logging ensures transparency into what action the agent performed and also why. Finally, always use the managed solution in the higher environments like SIT, UAT, and the production. Managed solution protect your production environment, and also it enforce proper versioning as well, and also it supports clean uninstalls, and also you can follow the proper rollback strategy as well. Unmanaged solution should be used only in the dev environment. Implementing these best practices from the day one, it will help you to ensure your AI remains robust, future proof, and also it will align with your enterprise IT standards. That's the very key thing. And also I would like to cover few things on the governance and the security perspective as well. Whenever you are deploying an agent, AI agents in an enterprise environment, especially in Dynamics 365 CE, where the data is highly sensitive, and security and governance become absolutely essential. Copilot Studio benefits from the same security framework that underpins the Power Platform, which means we get enterprise grade protection. Out of box feature is already there. First and foremost thing, the authentication is handled through the Microsoft Entra ID. So this allows single sign-on, MFA, and conditional access policies to be applied consistently. Only authorized, authenticated users can interact with the agent. Now, the next thing is the DLP policies. It governs which connector can be used together. You can have the DLP policy for your organization, and you can apply the DLP policies for the environment. This is the major safeguard that ensures sensitive data cannot unintentionally flow into the non-compliant issues. For example, you can block an connector, external system connector, from interacting with your personal the data storage connector as well. So all those the guardrails you can apply it with the help of the DLP policies. And next to the role-based access control is another key capability which is there. Access to the Dataverse data is permission driven. If the user is not having the proper valid privilege to read or the update the table, neither does the agent on their behalf. all the actions are bound by the Dataverse roles. With that, we can ensure the consistency. Also, we can minimize the risk. In fact, whatever the agent does happens under the user permission context. This means row level security, field level security, and business unit rules or everything are enforced automatically if you leverage this out of box capability. This is an high win for the compliance and also for the data governance perspective as well. We have the solution based ALM, and with that, we can ensure all the deployments are controlled, versioned, and governed. This allows us to prompt the AI agents from dev to SIT to UAT, and production environment in a very safe, compliant, and repeatable manner. Lastly, all the integration with the connectors and APIs use encrypted communication. The credentials and tokens are stored in the secured connection reference. No secrets are exposed in a plain text. Everything is encrypted with the connectors, whatever we are leveraging inside the Power Automate and also on the Copilot Studio. So the underlying platform is handling the token reference, encryption, everything the platform is handling it. Together, these security capabilities, it ensures all the AI agents built on the Copilot Studio, it is meeting the enterprise governance standards while protecting the sensitive customer information. That is one of the advantage which we are getting it. So once you have built the core agent, like create the case or the track case scenario, we saw the real values come from extending it across the other workloads of the business process. So one of the most powerful extension is like you can add a knowledge article from the RAG. If you're having an own RAG, you can add it, or you can connect it to the SharePoint, or you can connect it to your own website, or you can connect it to the document libraries. The agent can retrieve the grounded and the conceptual answers from your organization documentation. This dramatically improves the quality and the reliability of the conversation, the response which is happening from the agents. And you can also like integrate with the Dynamics 365 field service as well. This opens up the capabilities such as scheduling the work orders, or you can check the technician availability, or you can update the service appointments, and you can capture the work order logs all through the natural conversation. Everything is possible. Another powerful extension is you can add the approval workflows using the Power Automate approvals. You can route the request through the multi-stage approval chains. The agent can send the notification and it can capture the response, manage the workflow progression, everything with the chat interface. That's everything is possible. And you can enhance the user experience with the help of the adaptive cards. So you can go to the Microsoft Adaptive Designer and you can build your own adaptive cards, and you can copy the JSON and you can use it inside the Copilot Studio. So which allows you to present the rich UI. This is extremely useful for displaying the case summaries or showing the, if you are getting the list of records, then if you want to show it, and if you are gathering the approvals or presenting the next step actions, then you can leverage the adaptive cards and you can show it in a very presentable way to the end user. Next, the Copilot Studio supports an external API integration as well through the HTTP connector. This allows the seamless integration with an ERP system, the payment gateway, or if you have any shipping providers, any REST-based service, you can call it using this HTTP action. This makes the agent as a friend door to the multiple systems. If you ask me, not only to the Dynamics 365 CE system, multiple ERP system can be integrated with the Copilot Studio. Finally, implementing the escalation logic, it ensures that complex or the sensitive scenarios are handled accordingly. The agent can defect frustration or the sentiment recognize when it's out of scope, and it can hand off the conversation to a human with the full context, including the exact conversation thread. So it can pass it to the human can pick that and they can take it from there. This extension, it will allow you to evolve from the simple case creation bot to multi-purpose enterprise grade AI assistant that drives real operational value across your organization. Now, so the next is the product mode roadmap. Like see, the Microsoft continues to invest heavily on the Copilot and the agent space with the frequent updates, and they are bringing lots and lots of new capabilities which is getting released. So while the specific timelines and the futures may evolve, The strategic direction currently they are having is focus on making the agent more intelligent and built the integrated with broader Microsoft the ecosystem and more enterprise ready. Stay informed about the roadmap items. You can go through the Microsoft official documentation. Over there, they will put all the Microsoft the latest updates over there, so which will help you to orchestrate your agent in a proper way, and you can enable the analytics and debugging, more native plugins, and improve the rack grounding, and you can do the deeper Dynamics 365 integration, and you can enhance your governance controls. Everything is possible. You can go through the Microsoft released updates to the Copilot Studio regularly. So monitor the official Microsoft 365 roadmap, product blogs, and community forums to stay informed about the new features and the capabilities, whatever the Microsoft is bringing into the ecosystem. So as we wrap up today's session, the main takeaway here is the AI agents are becoming the new user interface layer for the business applications. Instead of navigating the complex screens and forms, the user can simply have a conversation with the agent, and this agent will automatically handle the heavy lifting behind the scenes with the help of Power Automate. So we have seen how the agent can simplify the Dynamics 365 CE operation by automating the repetitive task, guiding the user through the process, and dramatically improving the productivity for the customer service agents. So thanks to the seamless integration with the Dataverse, your agent inherits the same security model, business rules, and the data consistency that power your Dynamics 365 applications. So this removes the integration complexity as well. And also with that, we can ensure the enterprise grade compliance has been applied in your organization solution. So we have demonstrated that you can automate the entire case workflow end to end. You can capture the information, you can create the records, and you can retrieve the updates as well, and you can maintain the consistency through the conversational integration. The combination of low code and pro code extensibility makes this approach very highly scalable, and fusion teams in your organization, you can build together. The citizen developers also create and rapid prototypes, and professional developers can extend these capabilities with the help of APIs, and they can build the custom connectors, and you can leverage the plugins, and the pro developers can even use the advanced logic, and you can stretch your agent to do whatever you want to do on the Microsoft stack. In short, the Copilot Studio, together with the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 customer engagement, it will enable your organization to build the intelligent, action-driven process that fundamentally transform how currently the team is working. So AI agents are not just a feature; they are going to shift a lots and lots of user experience. And organization that embrace this shift today will be well positioned to deliver exceptional customer and the employee experience tomorrow. So once again, thank you everyone for joining today this session. I hope you leave inspired to explore what AI agent can unlock in your organization. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your question in the chat window, or else please feel free to reach out to me in LinkedIn. I'm happy and glad to assist all your queries. And thanks once again for the organizer for providing me this wonderful opportunity to present this Copilot Studio solution along with the Dynamics 365 CE capability.
Thanks, Debbie. I think it was a great session and a very informative session. So probably I cannot probably see any questions from maybe one question from myself to be asked. So what was the most challenging agents you've built, and what did you learn from it when you actually using the Copilot or any other tools or MCP servers, if you're going to be very more advanced type of agents? So what you built as a most, I would say, challenging agent, and what you learned from it?
Yeah, a couple of challenging agents for the complex scenarios I have built it actually. So where it will automatically go and pick the documents from the SharePoint library, and it will automatically create the documents out of whatever the documents already there. So it leverage the organization standard, the branding template as well. And the Copilot Studio will automatically build those documents. So instead of people like putting the manual effort and building all those documents, now the Copilot Studio is there. Automatically, it is building the documents in a very automated way. So that is one of the interesting use case which I have worked. And lots of things I have worked on the Copilot, the Studio, the lighter version as well, the Copilot lighter version as well, which is there in the M365. So I have built the lighter version for the code review, or like whenever like if you upload a solution, all the Power Apps and the Power Automate components, it will automatically do the code review for you, and it will share you the results, like what all the optimization which is required in order to make this Canvas application or the model driven application more the scalable and the performance, considering all the performance related issues. It will show you the table, and it will automatically send an email as well saying that these are all the issues has been identified as part of the solution, and this needs to be fixed before making this application live. So a couple of the useful the use cases which I have picked and I have worked on it. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's great points. I think having these agents depends on the workloads and depends of the load is coming on these agents and where it's going to be used is always a challenge for the businesses. And as you mentioned, I think it's not always about the functionality, but the stability of these agents and the AI solutions that you're putting in the live environment.
Yeah.
So, but that's great. Actually, you see that it's happening across the businesses, and they're trying to adopt these agents in the different business workflows, business operations they're doing day to day. But maybe as advice, what common mistakes do those people as a newcomers making when they're building actually the first agent, I would say, using Copilot Studio or any other actually tools? What you find actually is the most common mistakes they're going to have when they're building the agent?
The main thing is like I am seeing like often people are going and directly building the agents directly in the production environment. So even though there's an agent, like it should follow like how the Microsoft has put the ALM process for all the Power Platform implementation. We need to build the agent as an organization, we need to build the agent in the lower environment, in the dev environment. We need to keep it as an unmanaged solution, and we need to promote the agent to an higher environments as a managed solution. So that is one of the governance piece. Currently, like I am seeing like organizations are missing, like whomever is starting, like they are directly going and creating the agents directly in the production environment. And that is the one of the key thing which the people should avoid, like while creating an agents.
And that's interesting to see actually, if the business is going actually to have directly the agents without any proper life cycle of creation of, like as any other apps that we built before, before the agents coming.
They need to consider agents as one of the application. It is like one technical component, like a Canvas application or a model driven application. So the people are thinking, since it's an agent, they can directly like go ahead and create in the higher environments, which is not recommended at all, especially for the enterprise. It's always like we need to follow the proper ALM practice, so that in future, like we will be able to maintain this in a proper scalable, and also it helps in a proper for the good ALM practice as well to follow.
No, that's very good point. I think I'll totally agree with you. Still following that pattern of the dev test project type of environment that we pretty much we had always as part of any app development in the businesses. So we should still follow that. And that's a great comment from Amit. I think I can see on this now. I'll just bring it up on the screen. So, which is the AI agents are the new UI layer of the business apps. So, and I'm completely agree. It's just changing how the user experience is going to be. Before was just moving around different, menus and those things. But on top of that, I would say is a bit of those AI agents, from my own perspective, is a bit automating the operations, except of being just a UI layer. But overall, when you look at that from the end user perspective, of course, is just have a new UI which they are interacting with and trying to have interaction with the business, with the application. So, but it was a great point Emmett just made. So, I think we've done with these questions, and I want actually to thank you again, Devi, for the session today, and thank you for allocating time to share your knowledge and experience in this space with the community. And I hope everyone just enjoyed this session. And wherever you are in this blue planet, I hope you have a good day, night, or evening if you are watching us, or whenever you are actually going to watch us actually on this live demo or recorded video. That would great actually to receive your feedbacks continuously on the different channels that we have in Microsoft Euro community. So please feel free to reach out to Devi if you have any specific question on this topic. And thanks again, Devi, for joining us.
Yep. Thanks once again for having me here today. Thanks everyone for watching us. If you guys need any help, please feel free to reach out to me in LinkedIn. I'm happy to help. Thanks once again. Cheers all.
Awesome. Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, man. Cheers.